Hey, Natasha here. In this video, we are going to discuss the mindset shifts that are needed to transition from employee or clinician to CEO or business owner, private practice owner, however you identify yourself as. So this is not just for new business owners. This definitely applies for established or more well-seasoned business owners. So we're going to dive in with the fact that there is a mindset shift that needs to take place. And if you are established and you feel like you're just burning the candle at both ends, I highly recommend that you check out and take my Are You the Bottleneck quiz. And it's fast, fun, it's easy, takes 2 minutes to figure out who or what is slowing down you and your progress. So when I had my private practice, and even in my consulting business in the beginning, historically, what I would end up doing is I'd dive in head first, and I would not even think, I would be so engrossed in the details that I would end up having to circle back to the foundational pieces. So really, when we think of our business, you can think of this as a house. That's an analogy I use sometimes. If you have a faulty foundation and you just kind of skip ahead and you start building the roof instead of the foundation of it's going to fall down. It's not going to last. It's not going to be sustainable. And the same goes for your business. So a lot of times when we think about what's the foundation of our business, we're thinking like systems and SOPs and things like that. That's partially true, but this is beneath the surface because this really goes, you start with your mindset first. That is truly the foundation before you go into your business. Because again, your business is an extension of you. It always comes back to you. It all starts with you. Now, I have a course, All Starts With You, 4-week mini course that dives into this a lot deeper because at the end of the day, your mindset is key. So let's dive in with that. So the big key thing I want you to ask yourself as we dive into this topic is, who do I need to become or who do I need to embody in order to set myself up to be this successful business owner? Okay? Now, I already pre-drew my stick figure. My text is not super great on here. I will work on my writing, okay? So it says, what is she? Now, for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to use she, but apply this however this resonates for you. So what is she? So there's 3 key components that I want to talk about when we think of our mindset shift into transitioning to I am the boss, I am the CEO, I am a business owner, okay? So the 3 things are this. What is she? What is she thinking? What is she doing? And what is she up to? If you can read that, right? I'll just talk about it. So those are the 3 things. And these are in order, okay? Now, what is she thinking? This thoughts, and I talk about this a lot on my Fear Chronicles podcast too. It all comes down to your thoughts. Those are key. If anything, your time and your thoughts are crucial, right? I think that you would agree, especially with time. So these are thoughts that your self-talk. What does your self-talk look like? What are you saying to yourself? What are the things that or stories that you have on repeat in your brain? So this is going to be key, especially when it comes to now flipping your mindset or flipping your thoughts of flipping it to reflect this new version of yourself as the successful business owner that you are. And especially if for those of you that are already established in a practice or a business, this looks at if you want to scale and expand your thriving business or your practice and not want to burn the candle at both ends and burn out. Or maybe you're already burning the candle at both ends and you can't even fathom expanding at this point because you would just rip your hair out. So again, this all starts with your thoughts. What are you thinking? And then also, what do you think not only about yourself, but then now how are you thinking about what's going on around you? What's going on in your business? What are you saying to other people? What are you thinking about other people? So it's really about that awareness piece, but what's actually going on. And that's the first step. So when I asked you before about who you need to become and or embody to be this version of yourself, you think about what is that CEO version of me? What is she doing? What actions is she taking on? So this is a great place. In earlier videos, I talked about delegating, especially for those of you that are a solopreneur, solo practice owner, or seasoned and ripping your hair out. This is where, we look at those things like, at what point do we hire? Delegate, whether that's contractors, a team, other clinicians, what have you. What is that CEO version of you? What is she doing? So that could be creating systems. That could be delegating. That could be getting rid of things that isn't giving you the ROI that you're looking for. You have to, again, think about what is that CEO version of me doing and not doing. What could someone else do that I don't have to do? And really streamline and think about what your CEO version of what are the things that that person in that role would be doing and reflect that. So if that means to hire people, then maybe you look into that as your next step is to hire a team or to delegate however you see fit. And then the last thing is, what is she up to? So I like this one because this is more about the planning. So behind the scenes, what else is she up to? Surface level, yeah, running this, she's the CEO of this company. She's doing the thing. She's, hiring and firing. She's doing all the things, right? And she's the face of the company. She's the face of the brand. Well, what is she up to? So she is likely planning the next project, the next big thing, the next big launch, the next location. If you're branching out into hiring and building a whole nother location or multiple locations, because again, some of you might be expanding into multiple locations, which is phenomenal. So what are the things that your future CEO self, what is she thinking? What is she doing? And what is she up to? So this is, again, shifting that mindset. And you might get inspired, because honestly, I do when I do activities like this, because it's about your imagination and really, again, stepping into and embodying that version of you and then reflecting that outward. And what you ultimately are going to do once you figure out this for yourself, especially if you don't feel like in this current moment, you are embodying that successful, not burned out version of yourself and your business is not reflecting that you dream of, think about these things. And then when you come up with those ideas and you're inspired, you take those ideas and then you're going to reverse engineer that in a sense, because then breaking that down, like if it's this big idea, this big project, what are the small steps? And then build that out. And that's when the calendar planning comes in. That's where all the project management things come in. All of this stuff is tied together, as you know. So those are the big things. Those are the mindset shifts. Because when we're in employee or the clinician role, where we're not in that next level step, not having to think about those things, we don't, right? Because someone else above us in those roles appears to be doing that for you. And you're just kind of like if you're a clinician, right, on the floor, on the ground, hitting the ground running, and you're doing the direct patient care. And you can still, of course, do these in these roles and have that customer service interaction, have that patient interaction. But when we're thinking about mindset shifts and really embodying that version of ourselves, that's what we're talking about. So what I didn't write up here, and what I want you to keep top of mind when we think about this mindset shift and how we're showing up, when we think about this as our CEO version of ourselves, this is, again, all about you. So how you're thinking, how you're doing, what actions you're taking, and what you are up to, this is all intertwined with your personal life as well. Because how you show up in your business is how you're going to show up in your personal life, in real life. Let's be honest, or vice versa. So how you do your business, how you show up in your business is how you're going to show up in other places of your life. So if you're showing up this way and not how you'd like to in your personal, reverse engineer that as well. This is full circle, whole, well-rounded life that we are talking about here. This really isn't cut and dry, cookie cutter stuff, because how you do one thing is how you do all things. So if you want to show up as this CEO successful version of yourself and shifting that mindset, the saying goes, they incorporate all of those things in all areas of your life. So again, this is a pretty high level overview because I don't want these videos to get super long, but I dive into this a lot more in my Aligned Copy Tax series that's here on YouTube. I also dive into this in my All Starts With You 4-week mini course. And again, you can always take my 2-minute Are You the Bottleneck quiz. So I will see you in my next video. Thanks. So number 2 is doing. So what is she doing? So this is all about action.